Welcome to Module 8, and in this one we're going to be talking about eating out without guilt, healthy options, and smart swaps. And this is puzzle piece number 8 in our puzzle of ways to have success with weight loss. And I'm excited to share this module with you, and we're going to learn a lot of things about eating out, about vacations, about smart things to do when you're tempted to have that whole piece of cake. So let's get started. This is lesson 22, and we're talking about navigating cheat meals, staying on track with your goals. You know by now that chocolate is my favorite food, and so having this chocolate in the house, it's helping me to stay accountable, to say I'm not going to have it for 365 days. But in general, up until Christmas time, what I would do was have a little bit of chocolate, and then I wasn't tempted to overeat too much because I would have a rule in place. And I don't like rules in general. Grew up with way too many rules. And so I'm trying to not have too many rules in my life, but this one does help. And it's called the 2-bite rule. So if you remember back to the risky foods list, where you'd list all the foods that you were tempted to overeat on, those foods, when you have them around, it's really hard to stop eating them. That's why we call them very risky foods. So I do like to not eliminate anything because then you feel deprived and then you eat too much of it, that kind of a issue that happens with yo-yo dieting. For this one, you allow yourself to still have the same food, so you're not replacing the chocolate with the banana or the chocolate with a cucumber. You're actually going to have the chocolate, but you're just going to have 2 bites. Now, the first 2 bites of anything always taste the best. Actually, the very first bite of anything tastes the best. And after that, the second bite tastes good, but not as good. And if you keep eating things, they taste less and less flavorful because our taste buds are getting used to them. This happens with ice cream. The very first bite of ice cream is always the best. And then your mouth starts to numb because it's so cold and it doesn't taste as good. So the very first bite is the best. And if you even have a 1-bite rule, which if you have a really hard time resisting certain foods, maybe have the 1-bite rule and you say, okay, I'm just going to have 1 bite. That's it. And my daughter helped me with this when I was losing the weight and I was trying to do the 1-bite rule, and then I allowed myself the 2-bite rule because I realized even if I had the 2 bites, that was okay and I wasn't going to overeat because it was literally 2 bites. So if I was at a restaurant with somebody, I would say, can I have 2 bites of that cake that you're having? So the 2-bite rule is how to not break your winning streak. When you're losing weight and you feel like you're making progress, you don't want to jeopardize that and sabotage all of your progress. So this allows you to have both wins. It's a win-win. You can still have your progress of losing the weight, but you can still have your chocolate too. You can have your cake too. So the 2-bite rule is literally 2 bites. Now, a bite is based on what you can put in your mouth. So I guess as big as your mouth can hold it, 2 bites literally. But I mean, you are your own boss here and you're the one setting the rule for yourself. But the principle is just 2 bites. Instead of a full cookie, have 2 bites. Wrap it up. Put it away for later. Have 2 more bites. Instead of the whole chocolate bar, have 2 bites of it. Instead of the whole piece of cake, have 2 bites. Instead of a whole bowl of chips, have 2 pieces of chips. And then at the next meal, have 2 more pieces of chips or 2 more bites of a cookie. 2 bites is not going to put 80 pounds of weight back on your body like I did, where I had 80 pounds to lose. Knowing that I'm just going to have 2 bites of something is not going to put a whole pound on my body, of course. But the principle is it's doing something different than with the fad diets that said you have to eliminate everything. You got to live on soup. You got to live on cabbage soup. You got to eat salads for 3 weeks. And then you feel deprived of everything. And your body is literally getting malnourished because you actually don't have enough nutrients coming in either. That doesn't work. Allowing ourselves 2 bites of anything and not taking anything off the table as long as you aren't allergic to certain foods, etc. This is based on your risky foods list. And those foods, how do we deal with them? How do we keep them in our life without sabotaging all of the wins that we're having from losing weight? This worked while I was losing the weight. This still works today. Where if there is something that I feel I can't control because I have all of the history and the years of eating that food a lot, and if I say to somebody, I'll just have 2 bites, and that works. For me, right now, I really know what things I'm tempted to overeat and not overeat because I'm very aware of it, because I don't ever want to gain the weight back again. So I just don't usually keep those foods in the house. And so this works great when you're eating out, where nothing is off limits. I can eat anything on the menu except I'm only going to have 2 bites of those foods. And so that means I wouldn't actually order it. It's 2 bites of the person I'm with. It's 2 bites of their food if they're going to let me have some. Or you buy it, you take it home in, the takeout bag, you divide it up and you have 2 bites at a time. That's hard. I know that's hard, and I don't always do very well at that. It's sometimes really hard to resist not having 2 bites and then 2 bites and then 2 bites, and then I've eaten the whole piece of cake. So you can try that. This whole thing is flexible. This whole program is flexible, and that's what makes it work, because you're not stuck to one thing, and if you don't do the one thing, everything falls apart. It's complicated, it's messy, but it's creative. Let's not use the negative words. Let's see what it is. It's creative. It's being flexible. It's making it into game. To me, the 2 bite rule is a way to gamify it, to say, yeah, I can have that, but just give me 2 bites. It makes it a little bit fun. It's just trying to find as many creative ways to get to our goal. And everybody's journey is going to look different. And my journey is going to look different than your journey. And that's okay. And you don't have to follow my journey exactly. And I don't expect you to, because we don't have the same background, the same circumstances. But hopefully this 2 bite rule, like many of these other things, are puzzle pieces that you can pull on to fit into your puzzle. And you can say, yes, that works for me most of the time, or that works for me 50% of the time, and I'm going to remember that 2 bite rule. In lesson 23, we're going to talk about drinks and how to win at weight loss and how to maintain weight loss and still have fun when you're going out for drinks. So we're going to talk about that next time. So hope to see you there.